Yeah, I didn't turn the microphone on. Let's start over again. As normally he turns it on and gives it to me. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. Yeah, no. So we're on Bab man wasala rahimahu wa habbahu ahlahu. So this is the chapter of whoever keeps the ties of kinship, his family will love him. I mean, with some exceptions, obviously, as we saw in the previous hadith, which hadith was it? كأنك تصفهم المل. تذكر right here, the hadith of Abu Hurairah, in which he said, قال أتى رجل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله إن لي قرابة أصلهم ويقطعوني وأحسنوا إليهم ويسيئون إلي ويجهلون علي وأحلم عنهم قال إن كان كما تقول كأنما تصفهم المل ولا يزال معك من الله ظهير عليهم ما دمت على ذلك. So obviously this hadith is an exception of a man who's being very, very good to his family. So he comes out the mountains, huh? So this is an exception of a man. Obviously he treats his family good, but they do the opposite. They return the opposite. But in general, a person who is very righteous and kind to his family, we notice this. If you look at most of the families, the most beloved person in the family is the one who is the nicest and the kindest, and the one who's always the most respectful to his elders. And we see that this is the person that's most beloved amongst the family. And the person that's most despised in the family is what? And the meanest, the most disrespectful. Yeah. And this is the general, but I mean, obviously, there's always exceptions to those rules. So, قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى حدثنا محمد بن كثير. And Muhammad ibn Kathir here is al-Abdi, and some people say al-Audi. Al-Audi or al-Abdi, but al-Abdi. I would just say al-Abdi.
Muhammad ibn Kathir and his kunya is Abdi?
I know, it's Nasab. Not his kunya. His kunya would be Abu Fulan. Alright, قال أخبرنا سفيان, and this is a Thawri, Sufyan al-Thawri, and Abi Ishaq. Alright, and Maghra here is Abu al-Mukhariq al-Abdi. Abu Mukhariq al-Abdi. And his name is going to come in the next chain of narration, but you won't see that because you don't have the chains of narration. عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال من اتقى ربه ووصل رحمه نسي في أجله وثرى ماله وأحبه أهله. Alright, the chain of narration here is mawquf to Ibn Umar, and the chain of narration is Hassan. Alright, Hassan. Alright, so here Ibn Umar, he said, whoever man ittaqa rabbahu. What does that mean?
Translation, whoever fears Allah.
How do you fear Allah?
By taking a waqaya, from taking a shield from the punishment of Allah by doing good actions and staying away from.
So basically carrying out the commands and staying away from the prohibitions. Alright. So he said, man ittaqa rabbahu wa wasala rahimahu, and kept the ties of kinship. Nussiya fi ajlihi. Nussiya, it means utila fi umrihi. Utila. Nussiya fi shay'an utila fihi. Because this is mabani ila al-majhul. So nussiya, it comes from nassa'a. Nassa'a means atala fi ajli. So it means that his life will be prolonged. His life will be prolonged. And we spoke about this, right, Malik, yesterday? We spoke about this yesterday, right? Did the pizza make you forget? Well, how is his life prolonged? And we have the hadith that his life is already set. Like the hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, when the angels go to the womb, when he's in the womb, and they write his lifespan, his provisions, his actions, whether or not he's going to go to Jannah or to Hellfire. All that's written in the womb of his mother. So now how is his life prolonged? By maintaining the ties of kinship. Yes. Yes, what? That's how. No, I'm saying how. I'm asking the question. And you're just saying yes, yes, yes.
No, they died against you.
But how is his life prolonged when his life is already set? Before he even came out the womb, before he had a chance to keep the ties of kinship.
The angel was black and they wrote it down.
Huh?
They write it down.
Write down what?
The lifespan.
Yeah, it's written in the womb of his mother. So how is his lifespan increased after he comes out of the womb?
It's been already, like Allah knew already about that. So Allah, even He knew that He will do this kind of good thing. So that was part of His Qadar, that his life will be prolonged due to this.
All right, exactly. But with more detail, what's the finer detail?
So you know,
Yes, you.
but the
That's correct. But there's one finer detail.
Because people who keep the test kinship are known for having long lives. So this is like a fadl from Allah to them. Like the people,
Were you here yesterday?
I was on the answer, and you proved of what I said yesterday.
But I give you an extra detail about this. Because the hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is that what? Yuktub what? Amalihi. So his actions are written already. So him keeping those ties of kinship and being obedient to his parents, and it's already written that he's going to do those things. So that's factored into what? His lifespan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does increase his life based on those actions that he already has knowledge that he's going to do. But that doesn't mean that he's going to come out the womb. Like right now, like the angels wrote for you that you're going to live 60 years. But then you like, well, I'm going to call my mother every day so I can live 65 years, you know? No, you're going to die. It's whatever that day, that appointed time is already appointed for you. But that's already factored into the fact that you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already had prior knowledge of you doing it. And he already wrote those actions for you.
There's no hadith for making like a dua at a certain time, and it could be like a possibility. Like for example, something may have happened to you, but you made dua or you.
No.
What was the hadith saying?
Whatever's, you know, the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma. Or he said, you know, إذا اجتمع الأمة على أن ينفعوك بشيء لم ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتب الله لك وإن اجتمعوا على أن يضروك بشيء لم يضروك إلا بشيء قد كتب الله عليك رفعت الأقلام وجفت الصحف. So whatever the people try to do of benefit or of harm to you, no benefit will come to you and no harm will come to you except for something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already written for you. It's nothing that you can change. It's nothing you can. The dua, the fact that you make dua and it changes your situation, again, your actions are written. So the fact that you're going to make dua on this day, it was already written. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is written your provisions that they're going to be like this. And then you're going to raise up your hands and say, oh, Ya Rabbi, you know, I don't have enough money for this and I don't have enough money for this. Please, Razukuni. And he wrote that you would make that dua and then that your provisions would increase. So that's a karama from Allah. Because, I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you think about it, right? Does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala need our dua to increase your provisions or to anything like that? No, he could just give you what you need throughout your whole entire life and you never have to make dua. But the fact that he put you in a situation and he wrote for you to be in the situation to where you turn to him and make dua to him, and then that becomes the reason of you getting that thing. That's a ni'mah. That in itself is a ni'mah. Huh?
You earn it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because he wrote for you that type of worship. Whereas you look at these kuffar, these billionaires and all that, they never raise their hands to the sky asking Allah for nothing. So the fact that, I mean, any type of situation that you're in, that Allah put you in that situation, wrote that you were going to be in that situation, wrote that you were going to stand up, let's say in the last third of the night, raising your hands, making dua, please Allah, relieve me of this situation, like get me out of this situation. And then he gets you out of the situation. Now he could have got you out of the situation without you making dua. He didn't need your dua. So that's good for you. Like that's a blessing for you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you that. Something that we all need to be thankful for. You know, every time that we raise our hands and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something, that the fact that Allah wrote that we will go back to him and this type of worship in itself is a huge ni'mah. That, I mean, if we sat here trying to worship Allah our entire lives, we wouldn't be able to thank Him for that blessing alone.
I think now would be the time to, how did the Prophet ﷺ raise his hands making dua like outside of the salah? Like, what is the prophetic way of?
I mean, in common ways, it's just he used to make dua.
I heard from someone, it's like this. Is it like, I'm not sure. Like I heard from someone that it's like this, but doesn't look like more like the idol worship, or like this.
I don't know. That looks weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, generally, what you see the people do is they raise their hands like that. You know that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Look up the hadith in Allah. Yes. Huh? Yeah. You got the hadith memorized? It.
إن الله حي كريم يستحي من العبد إذا رفع يديه فينصرف.
No, okay, look it up.
Probably memorized.
Because I've been suffering from brain flatulence for the last 2 days.
What?
I've been suffering from brain flatulence for the last 2 days. Even this morning in Fajr, like, that's a problem with the ice freezer, huh? Man, would you just look up the hadith? Why you keep going to different websites? Just go to Dura.
المحدث الألباني صحيح الترمذي.
Man, wow. Read the hadith.
The first one.
So, in Salman al-Farisi radiallahu anhu, it doesn't say whether it's أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله حي كريم يستحي إذا رفع رجل إليه يديه أن يردهما صفرا خائبتين. Sifran, it means what?
Empty.
Yeah, because the Arabs, they always say, like sifr al-kaf. It means like I have no money. I have no money. This came in a poem by Qadar. So he said, I can't remember the lines. أصالة الرأي صانتني عن الخطل وحلية الفضل زانتني لدى العطل لدى العطل مجدي أولا ومجدي أخيرا شرعون والشمس في رعد الضحى كالشمس في الطفل فيما الإقامة بزوراء لا سكني فيها ولا ناقتي فيها ولا جملي سفر كف. Somewhere in there is like, look up the line of poetry. Look up أصالة الرأي صانتني, because I don't have my phone, otherwise I just look it up. I left it charging at home today. أصالة الرأي زانتني عن صانتني. I don't know. I just said it. Now I forgot it. I told you I've been suffering from brain flatulence these days, man. Hey, since that pizza yesterday, khalas, man. Even this morning at Fajr, I was making so many mistakes. Malik wasn't correcting me. My son wasn't correcting me. I wanted to throw everybody out the window this morning. That's the problem. I'm not even gonna say it because it was. I knew today was like a bad day, so I said, let me just read one of the easiest that I read, Surah An-Nun, and I was just like, oh yeah, and nobody can help me out. I'm like, come on, somebody, nobody, Allahu Akbar. So, no, أصالة الرأي صانتني عن الخطر والحلية فضلي زانتني لدى العطل. No, I keep saying عطل. مجدي أولا ومجدي أخيرا شرعون كالشمس في رعد الضحى كالشمس والشمس في رعد الضحى كالشمس في الطفل فيما الإقامة بزوراء لا سكن فيه ولا جمل فيها ولا ناقة, or something like that. ولا ناقة فيها ولا جمل. نائن الأهل صفر كف منفرد. That's the line of the poem. So he says أصالة الرأي. أصالة الرأي means what?
Like I don't know.
Like my ra'y, my opinions are based on like foundation from usul. So it's not something like I don't go around with like doubt. Like when he's saying like, oh, my opinions is based on knowledge. He said أصالة الرأي صانتني لدى. Look it up, man. Look it up, because I'm telling you, I'm like, I'll sit here and read it to you right now from my memory, and then come back and read it, and I can't read it.
Nothing's fucking on my end.
What are you talking about, man? Why don't you just type in لامية العجم صالة. Where's your تاء مربوطة?
Are you leaving?
It's right there. It took 2 seconds. What are you?
Oh, I think you typed in, what is it, the lamia? I was typing.
No, I typed in أصالة الرأي.
Well, it wasn't
Yeah.
nothing from mine. That's right.
First thing that came up was the explanation. He said أصالة الرأي صانتني عن الخطل. So, like, you know, this strong opinion, this opinion that I have, these opinions are all based on knowledge. It protects me. It keeps my honor protected. عن الخطل, you know, and like, so, like, you know, like, basically nobody, you know, I don't give any opening for anybody to say anything bad about me, or to, you know. So he said, وحلية الفضل, you know, and the embellishment or the endowment of fadl, of this virtue that I have, you know, زانتني, it beautifies me, لدى العطل, when all the people are acting stupid and leaving off action, you know, but I continue to have these virtuous qualities and this virtue, even when people are going away from this type of behavior. He said, مجدي أخيرا ومجدي أولا شرعون. شرعون, it means the same. He said, my like, you know, my honor in the beginning and my honor in the end is the same. I don't change for anything, no matter what my situation is. He said, I don't change for it.
What does Majdi mean?
Huh?
Majdi?
Like, majd is like, you know, like a greatness, or I don't know how they translate it in English. But it's more like here he's talking about his honor, like, you know, like how his dignity, his honor. You know, it's just the same. Shara'un. Shara', it means here, sawa. It's the same, whether it's in the beginning or whether it's in the end. He said, وَالشَّمْسُ رَعْدُ الضُّحَى. He said, the sun, as it's coming up at the time of duha, is the same shams as it's going down. It's not the different sun. So he said, my majd is the same. Whether it's going up or whether it's going down, it's the same. I don't change for anything. I don't change for any type of situation. Then he said, فِيمَا الْإِقَامَةُ بِالزَّوْرَاءِ لَا سَكَنِي. So he said, what is this iqama? Like, what he's traveling in Iraq, and he's trying to get back to his family. So he said, فِيمَا الْإِقَامَةُ بِالزَّوْرَاءِ. Zawra is in Iraq. La sakani, like here I am in this place in Iraq, and there's no house for me. There's no house that I possess here. La sakani biha, wala naqati fiha, wala jamali, and I don't have any male or female camels here. Nothing, like no wealth here. Basically, there's nothing here for me. It's not my land. Na'in an al-ahli sifru kaffi munfaridun. He said na'in an al-ahl. Na'in, it means what? No. It means ba'id. Na'a an shay, it means an ba'uda. Because he said he's far from his family, you know, because he's trying to get back to them. He said, Na'in an al-ahli sifrul kaf. Sifrul kaf, it means what? I'm in this land that I don't own anything, I don't possess anything. I'm far away from my family, and I have no money. Sifr al-kaf, it means I have nothing in my palm, nothing, no money. He said, because your phone keeps jumping, man. Every time I push it down, it jumps back up. نَائِنَ عَنِ الْأَهْلِ صِفْرُ الْكَفِّ مُنْفَرِدٌ كَالسَّيْفِ أُرِّيَ مَتْنَاهُ this is supposed to be من الخلل. But it says khalali. Khalal is something different. He said, you know, like I have nothing in my hand, just like a safe that's been taken out of its sheath. You know, there's a sheath and nothing in it. You know, what's the benefit? There's no sword. You know, it's just a sheath. You know. So he said, huh? I don't hear. فلا صديق إليه مشتكى حزني ولا أنيس إليه منتهى جذلي. He said, there's no friend that I have here that I can complain my sadness to. And he said, no companion, no close companion that I can, you know, have companionship with, you know, like nobody that I can share, you know, just, you know, he's alone. He's away from his family. He's poor and he's traveling. He's trying to get back to his family. But he's saying that, you know, and the whole point of why he started the poem off with that, where he said, Majdi akhiran wa majdi awwalan shar'un. Because he's saying that even in these types of situations, I don't bow down, I don't allow myself to change. And, all the virtues that I have, I maintain these virtues even in these types of difficult situations. In the poem, inshallah, we'll try to go over this poem like in its entirety one day, inshallah. It's Lamiyat al-Ajam. Very beautiful poem. But the shahid is that he said what? Sifr. All right, sifr al-kaf, it means what?
Zero, nothing in my palm.
Yeah, nothing. It means that you have no money. Yeah. All right. So he said, we finished this hadith, right? But that was going back to the hadith where he said, go back to the hadith originally. No, the hadith that you looked up, because I forgot that's where the word sifr was in. That's what got me going on the poem. So basically, the shahid of the hadith is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's shy from a person who raises hands, and he's asking with his hands raised, that he returns his hands down, what?
Oh, empty.
Yeah, like empty, with nothing, like sifr. No, he doesn't get the answer, because he's going to get one of two things. Huh? Kha'ibatain means with disappointment, like two disappointed hands. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the person one of two things. Either one, he answers the dua and gives him exactly what he wants, or two, what?
He saves it as a good deed on the day of
Yeah, so he keeps it for him on the day of judgment.
How about the other one, what I heard that he even approved something better, like something better than what he was asking for?
Yeah, okay, well, that's the third option.
I heard.
Yeah, that's the third one, is that maybe you're asking for something and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what you're asking for might not be the best thing for you, but Allah, because of your ikhlas and and your worship and your returning to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you better than what you were asking for. Yeah, so that's the third thing. All right, so the next hadith, number 59, حدثنا أبو نعيم قال حدثنا يونس ابن أبي إسحاق قال حدثني مغرات أبو مخارق هو العبدي قال ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما من اتقى ربه ووصل رحمه أنسئ له في عمره وثرى ماله وأحبه أهله. We didn't even finish explaining the first hadith, but we'll finish it now because it's the same. So he said the same narration, Abdullah ibn Umar, but a different chain, where he said, whoever fears his Lord and keeps the ties of kinship, his life will be prolonged, and وَثَرَى مَالَهُ, and his money, his wealth will increase, وَأَحَبَّهُ أَهْلَهُ, and his family will love him. But again, this is mawquf on Umar. It is Hasan, but it is not. It's a statement of Umar. It's not a statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there are certain aspects of the narration that we've seen. For example, the prolongment of the increase in age, the increase in the lifespan, and the increase in wealth. We've seen that in authentic hadith. So that is actually goes back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But as far as the وَحَبُّهُ أَهْلُهُ, this is a statement of Umar, Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma. So this doesn't go back to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
we took that عن ابن عمر قال من اتقى ربه ووصل رحمه نسي في أجله وثرى ماله وأحبه أهله. But after أجله it is in parentheses وفي لفظ أنسي له في عمره 59 وثرى ماله وأحبه أهله. Is that like in your book? Because mine has
the first hadith is number 58 or 59. Which one are you reading? There's two hadiths.
Mine says
58. من اتقى ربه وصل رحمه نسي في أجله وثرى ماله وأحبه أهله. I was reading 59 right now. Because there's two hadiths. I think you only have one. No, I was reading two. I was reading 59. That's why the wording was different. But it's the same hadith. All right, any questions about that? And all of that is basically stuff that we've gone over before. Are there any questions over here? Because they got angry last night because we didn't answer any questions, really.
it is
They're like tonight. Friday was supposed to be a question answer thing, and we didn't answer because we had all the brothers here, so we just ignored everybody.
I think today's more like a slow day.
There's no school tomorrow.
No,
Not in America.
I think, but today we were partying. Even Fresno, like just today, Fresno just felt so
School day. Tomorrow's Sunday.
slow day.
Oh, a slow day. I thought you said a school day.
Uh,
Like first off, school's finished. Second off, it's Saturday.
even at work, it was so slow at work.
Hmm.
When I was at work, it was.
Because everybody's having parties tonight.
And it's graduation week, so.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's having these out of like because school finished. When I had, and the Mexicans had a huge party in my house. They parked all in front of my house, and and all the music was playing. And then of course I walk out my house and probably got 15 sins just walking out my door, just trying to get to the car, and get here. Then I get here, and and as I'm driving here, I'm going past party after party after party, so I think it's all for the kids for this. I'm assuming that's what it's for. I don't know because this is new for me. We never know. These are because these are like parties for like little kids. Like they're setting up like bounce houses in the yard.
No, that's culture over here.
Huh?
If there's a party, they have a separate area for the kids. That's culture over here. Like if adults have a party, they literally get bounce houses just for the kids and like young teenagers to go hang out. Like leave us alone type stuff. That's the culture over here.
All right, because I don't know. This is weird. I don't. This is like I've never when we were growing up, you finished school. I mean, like graduation parties yet, but just school being finished, parties for that. Nah, that's like. But this is California. California,
They have to do it.
California. They gotta get together, barbecue party for anything.
They got enough money for this.
That's what I was telling the kids, man, when we were leaving. Anyways, I'm like, subhanallah, That's especially like the Mexicans. The Mexicans will party about anything.
Oh,
Yeah, anything like.
and don't forget the beer.
Huh?
Beer in any occasion. My grandma died, beer. My 5-year-old just turned 6, beer. Like I'm happy today, beer. I'm sad today, beer. Like anything, beer. Wallahi.
Yeah, you start. That's the first thing you start hearing that music. You start hearing that the Mexican music, and it's like it's gonna be a long night, but you can hear it all over here. Like you can see the parties all even over by the masjid when we pulled up. It's all over the place.
Even in funerals, beer, like this is a newborn, beer. Like beer on any occasion, and when their friend dies or their family member or whoever, like someone close, they pour beer on the grave. Like, that's it.
So there's no questions here, or no?
One person just said Barakallahu Feek.
Well, Fiqh and Usul. That's it.
Okay.
I guess it's a slow night on YouTube too, huh?
It says only 12 people, but now I just checked the.
Yeah, it takes a minute for people to start.
Someone says, do you lose your wudu if you touch a non-mahram?
Like touching non-mahram where? Just touching general?
That's the question.
No.
That's it. How about, can you make wudu over your shoes instead of socks? I answered your question. You said, I asked you this one time and you said yes.
But with a condition.
It has to be long socks.
No, it has to cover your ankles.
Cover the ankles.
It has to cover all the parts of wudu because the hadith is a mash ala al-khuffayn. It's not a mash ala al-ni'al. So what's the difference between al-khuffayn and ni'al? And al-khuffayn ma a'la min al-ka'b wa ni'al ma asfala min al-ka'b. So the khuf is anything that goes above the ankle is called a khuf in the Arabic language, and anything that's below the ankle is called a na'al or ni'al, which is sandals, because because the sandals they go below the ankles, and any other footwear that covered up the ankles they called it a khuf. So that's in the Arabic language. So that's socks, high top shoes that cover up the ankles. Anything as long as it covers up all those places of wudu. Yeah. But I mean, like, what these people are doing nowadays, they're wearing those. Okay, I don't know what those are. I don't know who came up with that style, man. But whoever did, I hope that person has a very, very bad death. Those stupid socks that these dudes wear. Yeah, where they they don't even cover up the whole entire foot.
It's modernism. It's more like modern thing.
That's the gay socks.
Yeah, but the point is you see how smart these kuffar are and how stupid the people are. They give you less of a sock and charge you more money for it. I'll go to Walmart.
Or maybe 1/3 of like this, right?
Yeah.
Yes. you
Go
are-
to Walmart, man, and you can get the whole pack of socks, for what? They give you less of a sock. I think what is it like called boating socks or what are they called? Look it up. Look up
It's like
boat
gay
socks. Huh?
Maybe gay socks.
Yeah, rainbow socks.
Rainbow socks.
So you said the F word. Well, not the other F word, but
No, YouTube will try to strike us with lightning, man.
oh yeah, both sides.
Boat socks, that's what they are, because they're actually used for people that work on boats. Yeah, that's the origin of it.
And ballerina girls.
Well, that's what they look like. They look like ballerina socks, but they're actually boat socks. Huh? What? They're only used. They put these on their feet so they don't slip. They're supposed to be like the socks. I'm assuming, like I'm just using my very little intellect to try to understand this, but I'm assuming that these were just things that they slipped over their feet to keep them from slipping because of the deck of the boat gets wet. They need something to like grip. I'm assuming that these were types of socks that had grip on the bottom. Like that's my assumption. That's why they call them boat socks. No, I'm talking about the original concept of where these socks came from. Now, why these people wear it? No, like this you cannot wipe over. You can't wipe over these types of socks, and you can't wipe over socks that are very, very, very thin, where it's like you could clearly see through the sock. And like like the women's pantyhose type thinness. Oh, I guess that means we got to put the microphone on. No, because his mother's gonna be watching on the YouTube.
Did your mom come with you?
Huh?
Did your mom come with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
How's the child?
What child?
The child that drowned yesterday.
She's okay. She's alive.
Huh?
She's alive.
Okay, she's alive, but is she out of ICU? Is she like?
She at the hospital.
Yes. She had that.
I mean, she's alive, but how is her state of being alive? Because she could be alive, like people drown when they get like brain damage and stuff like that. I'm seeing.
I think she's in the thing where they have to give her air.
Oxygen.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
Is she like awake now or no?
Yes.
So she like her mind's functioning, everything's functioning.
A little bit. But she don't have her fully, but she can't get out the hospital yet.
I mean, like if you ask her a question, she can do like yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay, then that means alhamdulillah her brain's functioning. So that's good news. Good news. Because when you guys weren't here, I started to get worried. That's why I was like, oh. And then I was about to ask Robert about what happened, but Robert he went outside. Like
We didn't come early because I had basketball practice. Well, a basketball game, but yeah.
you didn't come to class because you had a basketball game, and I guarantee you probably lost.
No, we won.
You won, but how many points did you score? 2?
None.
None, exactly. I gotta mess with the children. Build them up, make them strong.
Nothing to compare what he tells me.
Huh?
I said that's nothing to compare what you tell me. This is just a taste.
Oh, that's nothing compared to what I tell my kids. Huh? Hussein got 0 points in basketball today. MVP. There you go.
Because the coach said,
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, give me the ball. He takes the ball and he wants to control the court out here. But then on the real court, when it really matters, yeah, man, you got a donut. That's all you got. A donut. What does a donut look like to you?
What cops eat?
0. You got a donut. And it wasn't even Krispy Kremes either. It was some brand that nobody likes to eat. Hostess or something.
Yeah, Hostess is that same thing.
Actually, man, Hostess man, shut up.
Little Debbie tastes better.
Little Debbie, I don't know, man. The Hostess is the classics, man.
But Little Debbie is certified no khanzir. They're known for not having pork in their ingredients.
None of these places. I think all of them use like vegetable lard now. But go. Any other questions before we go on?
Okay, someone says,
Like we don't use pork, but we use about another 20 other chemicals that are going to cause cancer and kill you. Yeah.
I think
But no pork.
oh, my mom said she's heavy dated.
Heavy dated,
I don't know.
sedated,
Yeah, sedated.
heavy.
Sedated.
Heavily sedated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone,
But she's okay. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
I think someone joined late. I think someone had to join late because he said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
His ustad answering questions.
It's like some kind of deal.
There are questions.
Oh, my mom said she can't answer questions.
She can't.
His mom's saying no, she can't answer questions. His game was in Hanford.
And he won, but he scored no points.
He said he stopped a lot of points from being mad. Don't do my boy. He stopped a lot of points from being made. Oh, like he prevented a lot of points, but he didn't score any.
Which is the opposite of what he does here.
So he got a good defense, but not offense.
Yeah.
There you
Because the coach doesn't have to pass.
You know, back in football, they'd always say, defense wins games.
Man, listen, because I know you're listening. If you don't want us messing with your boy, keep him with the women. As long as he sits with men, this is what's going to happen. And that's good for him. That's what he needs. He needs to, like, get some thick skin, you know? Yes.
I don't know what you said about Sheikh Yahya. When the guy came up to me and says, some people are speaking about me, Sheikh Yahya, didn't he say, like, man up? And then...
Akhi Sheikh Yahya is...
She said the boys was huge.
Huh?
The boys was huge.
The what?
The boys that was on the other team, they was huge.
So you got to start Muay Thai kicking them in the knees, man.
What are you?
They call foul.
So what? You taking them out the game.
No, I already did.
One time, a man, he got caught in the match. Now, this happens because people are, you know, not everybody's there like a real serious student. Now, there's people, they get caught up in desires. This guy, he is I can't remember what he was exactly doing, but what I remember is, like, you know, when he would cross the girls in the path. Now, normally in the match, if the girls are walking on this way, you would go all the way to the other side. So he would kind of get close and kind of like brush his hand against them. And they caught him for doing this, right? They caught him. So they took him to the sheikh, and the sheikh like sitting there and said, no, Sheikh Yahya. So he said, did you feel everything that you wanted to feel? And he's like, you know, he came with like a smile. So the guy thought he was joking with him, right? So he said, you know, like this, he said, good, get out, travel right now. And kicked him right out. He said, get your bags and get out of the village right now. But the way that he came at him, like, because the brothers that were there say, like, yeah, he's just like, he said, did you get it? Did you feel what you wanted? You happy now? He's like, yeah, smiling with the sheikh. The sheikh's all smiling. And then he just changed like that. He said, get out, travel.
Is this recorded?
No. These are like these are amongst the guards. When somebody does something stupid, they take them, you know, to the guards. But I mean, this issue, the Sheikh got involved with it, and that was subhanallah.
In Hadramaut, do you know they have like Salafi institutes for women only?
They got women that teach the women.
Like scholars, women who are scholars.
Students of knowledge. Yeah. The majority of any place, see, this is like I'm saying, this is the difference between Yemen and any other place in the world. You're not going to sit there and take every single lesson with a sheikh. You understand? The majority of what you study is going to be with other students. You know, you're going to study the main books, whatever that sheikh is teaching, those, whatever, 3 or 4 books a day. So what Sheikh Yahya was teaching, Tafsir ibn Kathir is teaching Jami' Sahih Mimma Laysa fi Sahihain, the Sheikh Mubil rahimahullah. That was in Dhuhr. One day this, one day that, one day this, one day that. So one day we have Tafsir ibn Kathir, one day we have Jami' Sahih. And then Bukhari after Asr, Sahih Muslim after Baina Maghrib al-Isha. Like right now we'd be going over Sahih Muslim. And then he teach other books like little smaller Risal. He go over, that's it. That's what you study with the Sheikh. You know, Nahu, Usul al-Fiqh, and all this type of stuff. You study that with other students. So that's why you see the difference between the students that studied in Damaj and the students that study in Sardiya, because they only study what they study with the Sheikh. They don't have that where the students are also teaching. So what is, you got to wait maybe 2 years before he gets a, you know, from number one, go right now to Sardiya and try to find a Sheikh that's teaching Nahu. You get that, and they get that in the university, and it's very, very watered down, and it's not the majority of them can't even. Like a lot of the people they graduate from the university, they can't even do the most basic Arab. All right, so that's already a problem. And I was close to a brother. He graduated from Kulliyat al-Sharia. Kulliyat al-Sharia. This is all right. So he graduated from the faculty of Sharia. That means that he studied Islamic law, and he graduated, and he's an Islamic teacher. Because we used to teach together in the school in Sardinia. And then, because I used to talk to the students, and then they would go and ask him because he's the Islamic teacher. And they used to go to him, and they used to say, "Oh, blah 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 blah. We asked Muhammad James about this, this, and this." And he said, "Well, what did he say?" He said, "It's haram." He said, "Then it's haram." Khalas, because they used to think like he was going to come and say something different. But because we used to sit down and go back and forth on fiqh issues all the time. But look at him. I mean, at one point, right before the COVID thing started, he was studying Tuhfat al-Saniyya, and the most basic book in Arabic grammar. And I told him, I said, "What? You don't?" He said, "Yeah, I'm trying to find a teacher that could teach me a Tuhfa." I'm like, "Are you serious?" I said, "You're supposed to study like Ibn Aqil in the university." He said, but the way that we studied it, it's not, they just pick chapters. They don't really go through it, and you're not really studying it properly. So if you don't really know Nahu before you go in, then you're not going to really get it. So then on top of that, where are you going to get it amongst the masajid? They're not teaching it. Most of the shuyukh that are teaching in Sardinia, they're teaching like Bulugh al-Maram, they're teaching like Zad al-Mustaqni', they're teaching Kitab al-Tawheed. You get maybe one or two that might be teaching a book in Usul al-Fiqh. Very, very rarely you'll get somebody teaching like al-Bukhari or Muslim. That's the Sheikh Muhammad ibn Adam, rahimahullah, used to do that. And Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abad used to do that. But nowadays, it's very, very rare. And then, even tafsir is very rare. Sheikh Abdul Karim al-Khudair, he went through all of, if I'm not mistaken, tafsir al-Qurtubi, the entire thing, over like a 20-year period. But now when we're talking about usul al-fiqh, mustalah hadith, and all these other sciences, where are you going to get them from? If you sit around and I have to study this with Sheikh Fulan, it's going to be maybe a year or two, before you see like a Dars al-Baykhuniya or Nushat al-Nadr or any of these books. So Yemen, you study those basic sciences, you study those with the students, you study the bigger science. All that what you're learning amongst the students is put to practice when you sit with the Sheikh, because he's going to go through all of that, everything. He might be dealing with some issue today in Mustalah Hadith, but tomorrow he's going to be dealing with some issue in Usul al-Fiqh. So all the stuff that you're studying, you're going to get it throughout those durus, because we're going through Bukhari, we're going through Tafsir ibn Kathir, we're going through all these books. So
question one day is going to arise in the chat. What's the difference between, this is for other people so they can know. What's the difference between fiqh and usul al-fiqh?
Nah, that fiqh and usul, like usul al-fiqh is dealing with how you're dealing with the adillah. All right, the fiqh itself is the ahkam, the rulings and the judgments. But the usul al-fiqh is how you're looking at it, and how when you're taking all the adillah to know like what is am, what is khas, what is the nasikh, what is the mansukh, if there's something like in that case, and certain issues in mustalah hadith. Because if you look at like usul al-fiqh, it's other science is kind of like brought together. So there's like aspects of usul, there's aspects of mustalah hadith, there's aspects of the language and how you're looking at the language and balagha and things like that. And so it's just how you're dealing with the adillah. And how you're, because you're looking at like, okay, for example, this hadith is am and this hadith is khas, and which one now are we going to use? Which is going to be the one that we're going to act on? We're going to use the am or we're going to use the khas? Which one is going to action? Or this hadith, is like opposes this hadith. So how do we deal with this opposing of the two hadiths? Like, it seems that it's a contradiction, right? So there's only different ways that we could deal with it. If we can't do a jam' between them, then what? Either one has to, if we know the time frame, and we look at the time frame, then we can say that this hadith, because it came later, that this is the nasikh, and this is the mansukh because it came before. Or then you go to the issues of mustalah hadith, and then you look at the hadith that's more authentic, and the hadith that is less authentic, and then you say, well, this one is shadh, this hadith is shadh, and this is the authentic narration, so we're going to act on this narration, and we're going to reject this one. And this is all of this is what you study in Usul al-Fiqh. So it's putting into practice like everything that you studied. Again, when you study Mustalah Hadith and when you study the language, then you go into Usul al-Fiqh and now you're looking at that now, taking that and like how to deal with that adillah. And also other chapters, like I said, because you're looking at the language of the Hadith, you know, which is am, which is khas, which is, you know, muqayyid, which is mutlaq, which is, you know, and, you know, am wa khas, it means it's general meaning. Khas, it means it's very specific. Mutlaq, it means it's just like, it's open. Muqayyid, it means it has what? Like stipulations and conditions to it, you know.
Someone says, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Are surahs like Surah Maryam meant to be read during pregnancy for easy childbirth?
I don't know anything about that. I've never.
Oh no, there's still. Okay. Additionally, would you have recommendations for books to read on the rules a mother should know about birth and motherhood in English?
In English? No, I don't know of any books in English.
Giving dates to your wife during
I don't read books on Islam in English, so I don't know.
You were saying?
Giving dates to your wife during childbirth, do that ease the process? Well,
Giving dates to you.
Pretty sure it's inevitable.
Nah, I don't know of anything about easing the process.
Something about dates. Yeah, something. I could look it up.
Someone says,
It is in describing like Surah Maryam that when she was pregnant, then Allah was asking her to shake the tree,
Yeah, but those weren't in Tamar. That was rutab.
not dates.
Well, dates is an umbrella term. In the Arabic language, the rutab are the fresh. They're still like yellow off of the tree. Yeah, the dates are after like the tamar is when they dry.
Oh,
Yeah.
someone says right here.
Mm.
Someone says right here, Ustad, is one's salah invalidated if they slap someone on the neck while praying?
They slap somebody on the neck while praying. Inshallah, no. I mean, what do you slap somebody on the neck for praying for?
That's the question, right? And it says right here, Ustad is the one.
Because I mean, if that was the case, if it's invalid, I don't know how many salats I lost from popping one of my like shut up. Yeah, but if it's something like that, just to tell them to stop because they're like causing distraction.
In addition to the nutrition benefits, dates are also thought to help induce labor. Said that.
No, I mean, if you take from Surah to Maryam, you can understand that. But that's, but again, that's rutab. But that's rutab. That's not tamar.
dates.
That's the fresh dates from the tree.
Okay.
You're gonna like this question. Ustad is the one who intentionally leaves off prayer a kafir?
Intentionally leaves up prayer.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell them if they know the ruling and they know.
Well, he intentionally left it off. And العهد الذي بيننا وبينهم الصلاة فمن تركها فقد كفر. And even this hadith, again, when we talked about Usul al-Fiqh, a lot of the ulama, they say, like, for example, Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah was one of the people who said that, well, if he tarakahu takasulan, then he's not a kafir. So he put a qayd on it, which is now, we talked about this right now, mutlaq wal muqayyid. But if we look at the hadith, it said, فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. Now, is this muqayyid or mutlaq? It's mutlaq. فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا مهما كان تركها تكاسلا تركها جحودا تركها عنادا تركها تكبرا. So here it did not specify or stipulate what it was. Now Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, alhamdulillah, he's a muhaddith and he's an imam, but now he comes and put the stipulation of what? But only if he left it off not takasulan. So he didn't leave it off out of laziness. But where is that stipulation in the hadith? Where is that stipulation in any of the hadith? So when you bring that stipulation and you place that stipulation on this hadith, it's not in the hadith. The hadith is mutlaq. Any type of tarak, whether it's takasulan, whether it's juhudan, whether it's inadan, whatever. You know, it's inad. It means what? It's like you're just being stubborn. I don't want to pray. My dad says pray. I'm not going to pray. You're just being stubborn. Or takabburan, it means out of arrogance. You know, whatever. Juhudan, like you just say, it's not wajib, man. I'm not going to pray. I don't want to pray. So what?
Like, for example, let's say it's a congregation, right? Or like.
Man, this better be connected to this, because you go on some.
You and Pop got like a little argument, right? And then he said it's time to pray, right? Could you just pray by yourself?
If your father told you to pray, you pray with your father.
But like,
no, there's no but nothing. If he told you to pray with him, you pray with him. That's a part of like, you know, this whole thing that we've been dealing with in Adab al-Mufrad for the last how many weeks? I mean, months. I mean, month and a half now. I think we've been taking this class. We're like on lesson what number? What lesson number are we on now? 30s.
31.
31.
And to add on, a father and a son praying together makes the relationship stronger. Especially husband and wife.
Another question.
Just I don't know what you said. I listened to. I don't agree with Sheikh Al-Bani, but his audio said like man taraka jahadan, not takasulan. But he said
no. He's saying jahidan is a kafir. Takasulan is not a kafir. That's what I was saying. He said as long as if he left it off takasulan out of laziness, then he hasn't left Islam. But I'm saying for him to bring that qaid, that stipulation, he has to bring evidence for that. Where did you get that from? If it's just from you, all right, then what, you know, just like, you know, when these issues used to come up in Damascus with a brother, you know, you say, well, Sheikh Al-Bani said this. Okay, well, ma salafahu fi hadha. And who preceded him in this? And who's the salaf that he has for this? Who amongst the salaf had this opinion? Because we don't just take opinions of people, you know, okay, Sheikh Al-Albani is an imam, no doubt, you know, and we recognize, you know, all the service that he did for Islam, but that doesn't mean that we take his opinions and just like, if he starts to add, you know, stipulations to things that were in the, you know, amongst the salaf. So now we go back and we look at the salaf and we look at how they dealt with this issue and we see that he dealt with it differently, or he added the stipulation, and we don't do that. I mean, yeah, we could say, look, we live in a time period where knowledge, now if this was the watch, if he came from this aspect of saying, we live in a time where a lot of people, they don't understand the obligation of salat. They don't understand that if they leave it off, that they've left Islam. They don't understand that. And if that's the case, then yes, on a case-by-case basis, this person doesn't know that, therefore he has ignorance. Therefore he has what? Al-udhr bil-jahl. He has that excuse of ignorance. So you would not make takfir of this person and say that this person is a kafir because he left off salat, because he doesn't understand the evidence. All right, now you sit down and you go over the evidence with him. You explain it to him. He understands it. He accepts it. And then he stops praying again. Now it's a different issue. It's a different case. So you're not going to just see a person not praying and say, oh, he doesn't pray, he's a kafir. No, sit down and talk with him and make sure that you've established the hujjah. And personally, me, even if I've established the hujjah on him, I still wouldn't call him. I wouldn't say like this person's a kafir. When I'm talking about it, I'm saying it as a hukm am, that whoever leaves off salat, you know, because it's the hadith, man tarakaha faqad kafir. That's a hukm am. But as far as like sitting here and saying like this specific person is a kafir, I'm not getting involved in that. Now it's different if he says, you know, if he's saying like, well, I'm just not going to pray because I don't want to pray and I don't like prayer. And then you sit down and you explain it to him and he continues with that behavior. Now that's a different issue. That's clear-cut kufr. You know, and you should have no delay in saying, okay, that person has left Islam. But if a person is leaving it off because of laziness or because whatever, maybe you get people, they don't pray because they're at school or they're at work and they shy away from the people. Now that's not an excuse. We talked about this before. It's definitely not an excuse, but I'm just saying, like, this is the people, they think that this is, in their minds, that this is a valid excuse, that he's not doing anything wrong. So you teach the people, you know, you teach the people.
My class,
And even as a kid, when I was very, very little, I was told that if you want, you could delay every single prayer, but you just have to pray it before Isha time is up. This is a long.
Well, because this is the madhab of Zaidi.
No, I don't believe in that.
No, this is the madhab of Zaidi. This is not the madhab of Zaidi. This is the madhab of the Muhazzini. But they got these fatwa from the Zaydiyah because these people are doing takhzeen and they don't want to spit out the cot. So what do? They sit there and they chew cot and they miss all the salat. And then when they spit the cot out at night, they go and they pray all the salawat. Because this is the fatwa that they got from the imams of the Zaydiyah. This is where you probably heard, this is probably where you got your information from. So this is not correct at all. If you leave the salat off for whatever reason, you have no excuse. That salat is invalid. It's invalid. If you,
sleeping and forgetting.
No, I said without an excuse.
Without an excuse.
All right, if you leave it off, if you just sitting there staring at the clock, watching the time for the salat go out, and now the adhan for the next salat it starts to go off, and you say, well, I'm going to stand up and pray dhuhr now. And you're hearing the adhan for asr, and you watch the time go out. Well, you could pray it, but it's not valid. It's invalid.
When you're doing a voluntary fast, right? If a person offers you food, you're supposed to break your fast?
No.
No?
And make dua for the person.
Like voluntarily offered you food?
If he offered you food, just tell him I'm fasting and make dua for the person.
Just take it and save it for later.
Or yeah, if it's like in a, food from like a restaurant or something, yeah, just take it and eat it later. So just tell him I'm fasting, I'll eat the food later. Jazakallah khair, make dua for him.
Someone says right here, Ustad, is it from fiqh and understanding to commit a lesser sin like listening to music to avoid a bigger sin like watching haram?
No, it's from the Wasawas al-Iblis. I saw this comment. It was there. They asked this question yesterday, but you guys.
Someone listen to music instead of watching haram.
Like if that was too bad.
Yeah.
No, the qaida of the lesser of the two evils is but this is an absolute necessity.
Like don't you, right?
It's a life and death situation. So like for example, let's say that you're starving to death and you're out in the middle of the desert. Now, I mean, this is a very, very far-fetched example, but just bear with me, okay? Because this is obviously, you're not going to find a pig in the desert. Well, I'm just saying, let's just, okay, but let's just, let's use our imaginations, for a minute. Just so you can understand what I'm trying to say. So you're out in the middle of a desert. You find a dead animal and you find an oink oink. An alive oink oink, a pig. For some reason, just out in the middle of the desert, you find a pig. Now, both of these things are haram. But now you're muttar, you're in a situation where you're dying of hunger and you have to eat something so you can get out of this desert to get back to civilization. So now it becomes permissible for you to eat one of these two things to get the strength just so you can get back. Now, what do you eat?
Dead animal.
Or you got the pig, you got the dead animal.
Dead animal.
Now here is where you would choose the lesser of the two evils. Yeah, the pig is not the lesser of the two evils because it's.
You gotta kill it, and if you're really suffering, you're probably too weak.
And plus, because you look at it, how you gonna cook it? How you gonna cook it?
Yeah, which one?
The pig.
How about the dead animal?
Well, the dead animals might have been dried up from the sun. That's gonna be like jerky, man. You could just eat that. But the pig with all the worms and all that stuff, you'd have to cook that. So
dead animal could be rotten,
But okay, let's say it's a.
That's what I was thinking.
No, it's a fresh dead animal. Because dead animal, let's just say it's not rotten. It's edible. A cow died, and he's down, but it's still not fresh, but it's not.
Cow, okay, in that case.
Cow, camel. All right.
Not pig.
Hyena. Okay.
That is halal again.
Oh, hyena's halal.
Halal.
Yes.
If it's a camel, you can
Hyena
get
is halal?
nutrition out of that, though.
Look it up. It's in Sunan Abi Dawood.
hyena zik.
Look it up.
Zik, right? It's zik.
No, it's a ضبع. سئل الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الضبع فقال أسيد هو فقال نعم. Go look it up in Sunan Abi Dawood.
الضبع.
الضبع.
I knew that, rabbit is halal.
الضاد.
ها
Yeah.
ضاد باء and
Rabbit
عين.
is halal, right? Yeah, rabbit.
There's also
You're too weak to catch no rabbit, man. You're in the middle of the desert starving to death. How you gonna catch a rabbit?
Like I was saying. Like,
No, I'm saying like these are the only two choices you have right now. And you see, he can't just go to the hadith. I told you to look up the hadith. He keeps going to the websites of the ulama. Find the hadith.
I think Bin Baz said nah.
I don't care. I'm telling you, look up the hadith. I'm telling you what the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. You going up and looking what Sheikh Bin Baz said? No, go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I gave you the wording. Look up the wording. سئل الرسول صلى الله النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الضبع فقال أسيد هو فقال نعم.
So while he look up that, go ahead,
No, because we're still dealing with this issue. We're not jumping to another issue. So when we talk about, because we're still answering the question, the first question. So
first question?
this is a.
No, I'm sorry. What was the first question?
That's when you'll understand when I get to it. This right here is a necessity. So now you're choosing the lesser of two evils because you have no choice except for what? This or this. So let's just say, like, for example, you want to get out of a kuffar country. The only place that you can make hijrah to is a very, very sinful Muslim country or another Christian country, but they're more religious. Which one would you choose? You can't go to a place that's righteous because for whatever reason you can't travel there. So now which one? Now these are the only two choices that you have. So there you go to a sinful Muslim country, or do you go to for example,
Christian country because it's righteous.
No, there's no such thing as a righteous.
Well,
no, I'm saying a better where they have more morality. Like for example, like if you look in America, Utah. Like, would you rather live in Los Angeles or Salt Lake City?
I'd rather live in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, because they have way more. There's more morality, even though they're kuffar. Even though,
Texas.
yeah.
I was in Texas, yeah.
But so we're talking about things that like necessity, that you're choosing the lesser of the two evils because these are the only two options available. But you have the option of not doing either one of those two things. Like none of those two actions are a necessity. So you can't sit there and say, well, I'm going to listen to music, so I stop watching this stuff that I'm watching, the women and stuff. No, because the thing is what is the music going to do? They talk about women too. So what is that going to turn your attention back? Yeah. So when we're dealing with those things, and there's no necessity for this. There's no necessity. Do something halal. If you want to get away from haram, you don't move away from haram to something that's lesser haram and think that this is the way to do it, because whenever you do a sinful action, what becomes easier for you to do now? Another sinful action. The only way that's going to get you closer to the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is by you starting to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as difficult as it may be in the beginning, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. So that's the only way that you can move towards the direction of the right and get away from the direction of the left but as long as you follow this obedience to Iblis, because this is Iblis, it's not from fiqh. It has nothing to do with fiqh in this deen. The fiqh in this deen, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, ma nahaytukum anhu fajtanibuh. وَمَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِهِ فَأْتُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Whatever I have prohibited you from, what? Stay away from it. He didn't say stay away from it to the most of your capabilities, or stay away from it except for if you're going to do something lesser than, no, stay completely away from it. You go to the obedience of Allah. That's the only way that you're going to get away from those sins. It's not, this is just a trap of Iblis. A trap of Iblis trying to keep you in a sin. So trying to convince you that, okay, listen, yeah, this sin is not as bad as that sin. So why don't you just do this one? But he's keeping you trapped in sin. So you're listening to the Quran. And you're not listening to the Quran. I'm sorry, you're listening to music. You're not listening to the Quran. So you're still in the same trap. You haven't gotten out of the trap. Now you just went from one ensnarement to another one. That's all you did. So you got out of this trap, you were released, and you walked 2 steps, and now you're back trapped again. No, this is all from the Messiah, the Shaitan. So you gotta, no, that's not the way you view, and this is not a necessity. And then no means whatsoever is watching this or listening to that going to be a necessity. Never.
That's some evil word, man. It's just some evil word. After that.
I mean, the only option of it is like, look, I got a gun to your head. Watch this or listen to this. One of the two, I'm gonna kill you. I mean, but come on, man, is that gonna happen? I mean, we're using our imaginations about a pig in the middle of the desert, but how far can we stretch our imagination? And this is never gonna happen. Even the pig in the middle of the desert, I wouldn't say it would never happen. Maybe like it fell off a truck driving through the desert. It could happen, but come on.
You might like this question. So this one says, Ustad, if you wronged someone in some way and for some reason they didn't forgive you in this worldly life and you made sincere tawbah from that sin, will Allah forgive such a person even though it's the rights of others, just like the man, it says the man, but I think they meant to say the man who took 99 souls and then repented. I think the man who killed 99 people then repented.
Yeah, but he did this before going and accepting the truth. If he had continued killing people after that, then his repentance would have been a lot different. But you're oppressing somebody as a Muslim, and you're going to have to answer for that oppression for that person. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you got the rights of Allah, which is the first and foremost rights. And that, now you make tawbah. You make tawbah, and then you fix your situation with Allah. But now you still got the rights of the person. And if that person wants to take his rights on the day of judgment, he's got every right to do that. If you've oppressed him, if you've taken his money, if you've taken his life, if you oppressed him in any other way, caused him harm to his family, dishonored him in any way, spoken about him in a way that caused him dishonor and shame, then khalas, that's his right. You just can't sit back and say, I make tawbah, and it's over. It's not over, because you still have the fact that you put this person through what you put that person through. You understand? So yes, you make tawbah. That's the rights of Allah over you. You fix that, inshallah. If it was tawbatun nasuh, obviously a tawbah that fulfilled all the conditions of tawbah. But for all of those conditions of tawbah to be fulfilled with oppression, the final condition is what? Is that you have to right whatever wrong that you did with that person. And if that you're not able to do that, you better make a lot of dua for that person. Like, say the person's dead, like you oppressed them, you cheated him out of a lot of money, and he died, and you can't return the money back to him. Maybe you could try to talk to his family and try to return the money back to his family. But if you killed a person or you shamed a person, dishonored a person to where you can go out in public and try to fix that and say, look, everything that I said about the person was wrong. You could try to fix it, even if the person is dead. You could still try to fix his honor and fix whatever you've done to the best of your capabilities. But,
Muslim, right? A Muslim. If he's a Muslim.
Even if you lied about a kafir, you can't just lie about somebody.
That's haram. But I was saying that, if a Muslim kills a kafir, that kafir will get no good deeds on the day of judgment.
Yeah, we're talking about killing a Muslim.
Okay, just to make sure. This one says,
Kuffar don't count.
No, you still going to get punished if you kill a kafir unjustly. The Prophet ﷺ he said, Rasul ﷺ قال أن من قتل معاهدا لم يريح رائحة الجنة وإن رأى ريحها لتصير 40 عاما. He said, whoever kills a mu'ahad, a mu'ahad is a kafir who comes into a Muslim country by the government's permission. Like, they gave him permission to come into the country. That means he's protected. You can't. And then we said, whoever kills him, he will never smell the fragrance of Jannah. And the fragrance of Jannah, it travels for 40 years, and he still will not smell the fragrance of Jannah after he killed this mu'ahad. So it's even taking the life of anybody, whether that person's a Muslim or not, unjustly. you're gonna be punished for that. That doesn't give you the right to just run around and just say, well, he's a kafir, I'm gonna take his life. No, that's not gonna work. What we're talking about as far as like the kafir, he doesn't get any hasanat. He has no hasanat. And then so he's talking about as far as the kafir taking from your hasanat, and then or you taking from a sayyat, but you still gonna get judged based on you still go, you took a life unjustly.
This one says how to deal with or stay away from madkhalis. How to deal with or stay away from madkhalis.
Keep using that word, and we'll all stay away from you.
What's that word?
And an insult for people that try to follow the sunnah.
Insult for people. Oh yeah.
You might like this one right here.
Like they try to like say madkhalis. No. Who said that? What was the name of the person?
I think A.R.
Why would they want to stay away from that?
A.R. Noor.
No, the problem is he ain't here because I just tell him get rid of him.
I can get rid of him right now.
Nah, because every time you touch that camera, you zoom in and zoom out.
So this one says, what is advice for man and for long engagement period 3 years?
Huh?
I'm reading for the question how it is, but I think it says like, what advice do you have for a man who's been in engagement for 3 years?
Find another wife, akhi. Like seriously, 3 years, akhi. That's too much, man.
You know that, is it permissible? Let's say, for example, you said find another wife, you married, right?
No, he's not. He's engaged. He's not married.
Oh.
But it depends because what is he talking about? Because see, in Yemen they actually signed the marriage contract. They actually have the contract, but until they have the party for the girl, then he doesn't get
A
the
party?
I hate that so much in him.
So
I hate that so much.
if that's the case,
A
then
party?
Wallahi, I hate that very much in from my own culture. Wallahi, I hate that so
yeah.
much.
So that could be like a year from the contract.
What's the point of being married? Like,
Yeah, and you can't
Even
even.
my marriage was like that, like a 1 year after 1 year. We get done.
Yeah,
We
that's
get done.
no, that's too much. I
We
mean,
get together thing.
but I mean, you know that going into the marriage. So what are you gonna do?
Allah said, they're gonna do that stipulation.
But you are legal to
I'm not
touch her,
married.
right? Sheikh, yeah, you are legal to touch her, right?
Yeah.
You're married, right?
Yeah, she's your wife. Once that contract is done
Yeah, it's done. Right.
and the mahar is agreed upon, and the wali says, "I married you to her." Khalas, she's your wife.
Question.
But it's the culture. This is only culture.
When you have a wife, if you want a second wife, do you gotta ask permission?
No,
Or no?
Allah gave you permission. You don't need a woman's permission.
Yeah, I love it.
But it's
I personally.
out of respect
Yeah, out of respect. I think.
and not causing fitna in your household. Yeah.
I would want
But I mean, as far as do you need to? No.
It's a disaster.
What's the next one?
This one says, Ustad, is delaying Isha by 2 to 3 hours permissible and from the Sunnah?
Delaying Isha is from the Sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Hada waqtuhu lawla yashuqa la ummati." He delayed the salat until half of the night had passed.
This one says, Ustad, can we make Ustad if we pray by ourselves?
Ustad, can we make Ustad? Huh?
I think it meant to say, Ustad, can we make dua if we pray by ourselves, and then say the dua for the intercession of the Prophet after making adhan by ourselves and our home. So I think they meant to say adhan, but they accidentally wrote Ustad. So Ustad, can we make adhan if we pray by ourselves, and then say
I think we already talked about this question maybe 2 lessons ago, right? Somebody asked the same type of question. They asked the question, if I call the adhan, can I make the dua for the intercession of the Prophet? And I said, yeah. I told her, and I answered, I said that every Fajr, I go out and I make the adhan for Fajr, and I make the dua after I finish the adhan.
that was like yesterday.
It was yesterday.
I think it was yesterday.
No, it wasn't yesterday because we didn't have that many questions yesterday. It had to be the day
Oh,
before.
yeah. This one says, well, the person who asked about the advice for engagement, it says like, he added how to not be attracted towards other women in this period.
That's impossible. The only way that you cannot be attracted to other women is that you have a woman that you can go home to. So find a woman that you can go home to. I mean, sitting there for like 3 years, akhi, that's like, Could you imagine, let's go window shopping for 3 years and not buy anything? Just like look at everything in the shops, but don't buy anything for 3 years. Like you could look, but you can't touch for 3 years. Talk to her about everything that you want to do, but you can't touch her. Like, come on. That's a punishment. That's more of a punishment than not even being married in the first place. I think, well, like just being single is lesser of a punishment. Because you can deal with it and you can accept your situation, but here it's like, come on, like you have it within your reach. Nah, that's.
It's only 10 o'clock.
I'll go.
That was all the questions.
That's it.
That was all the questions.
All right. I guess we're not gonna do this then. We're not finishing up Miftah Dar Sa'ada. You sure?
This one just added one more right now. It says, I have been asked to apply for a university in Yemen, but I never heard of it, nor do I know any shuyukh.
What's the name of the university? I don't know any university in Yemen that you should go to. But just for entertainment purposes, what's the name of it?
It says the Islamic University of Yemen.
There's what Islamic University of Yemen? Talking about the one in Aden?
I think he's maybe talking about Jamiat al-Khayr.
No. I know because the only one that was in Sana'a was the Ikhwani one, which is Jamiat al-Umyan. They call it Jamiat al-Iman, but it's Jamiat al-Umyan. But the Houthis took that over. There's no university there anymore. They were trying to start a new one amongst the Hizb al-Jadid. The Hizb al-Jadid, the troublemakers, the rebel rousers, the undercover Ikhwanis of Yemen. They were trying to start a university in the south, in Aden, which is connected to, I think, to like Medina or something like this. So one of these Hizbis is going all through South Africa trying to raise money for that. So maybe that's what it's referenced to. I don't know.
Other than that, that's it.
Huh?
Other than that, that's it.
خلاص سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
We didn't even get to open that aside.
I opened it. We didn't get to use it. Go ahead, stop it, inshallah.